The blue-white light of the alien ship's engines cast an eerie glow over Washington, D.C. as it hovered silently above the National Mall. It had been 3 days since the massive vessel appeared, and people around the world still couldn't believe what was happening. Humans were no longer alone in the universe. Diane Carter straightened her suit jacket and took a deep breath. As Earth's lead diplomat, the weight of humanity's future rested on her shoulders. Next to her, Greg Peterson reviewed his notes one final time before the elevator doors opened into the underground conference facility. "Ready?" Greg asked. Diane nodded. "As ready as anyone can be to negotiate with aliens." The conference room was divided by a long table. On the far side sat 3 beings that looked almost like tall, slim humans with iridescent skin that shifted between green and blue. Ambassador Crackstool sat in the center, flanked by 2 advisors. Their large, pupilless eyes tracked the humans as they entered. "Representative Carter, how pleasant to continue our discussions," Crackstool said, his translator device giving his words an unnatural smoothness. "I trust you have considered the Galactic Confederation's generous offer?" Diane took her seat. "Ambassador, we appreciate the invitation to join your confederation. However, Earth wishes to enter as a full member, not a protectorate species." The ambassador's skin darkened slightly. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation between equals. Earth has no standing military fleet, no faster-than-light technology, and no defensive capabilities that would meet even our minimum standards for full membership. We have much to offer beyond military strength," Greg interjected. "Our cultural diversity, our scientific achievements." "Achievements?" interrupted one of Crackstool's advisors with a sound like clicking stones. "Your species still burns fossil fuels. You have barely touched your own moon. The Confederation has existed for 12,000 of your years." Diane kept her expression neutral despite the insult. "Then perhaps you could share technology as part of a more equitable arrangement." Crackstool's mouth formed what might have been a smile. "That is not how the Confederation operates. Species earn their place. The protectorate status is actually quite generous. You would receive limited technology transfers under our supervision. In time, perhaps centuries, humans might advance to associate status." "And if we decline?" Diane asked. "Then the Confederation will be forced to establish a presence on Earth regardless. Unaligned worlds on the border of Confederation space present a security risk." Crackstool leaned forward. "You have 7 of your Earth days to accept our terms. After that, we will begin integration procedures with or without your cooperation." The meeting ended shortly after, with promises to reconvene the next day. As Diane and Greg were escorted back to the surface, the reality of Earth's situation became painfully clear. "They see us as primitives," Greg whispered as they entered their secure vehicle. "Worse," Diane replied. "They see us as defenseless primitives." Instead of returning to the State Department, their driver took an unexpected turn toward the Pentagon. "Change of plans," he said. "Admiral Harmon needs to see you both immediately." 30 minutes later, Diane and Greg sat in a windowless room deep within the Pentagon. They were joined by the leaders of 7 major nations, all looking grim. "Admiral." Jack Harmon entered, his weathered face serious. At 62, he had the look of a man who had prepared his whole life for this moment. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began without preamble, "what I'm about to share is classified at the highest level. In 2089, a small alien craft crashed in the Mariana Trench. It was not, as you might expect, recovered by the United States. It was actually a joint operation between 5 nations who formed a secret pact." Murmurs filled the room as a holographic display activated in the center of the table. "For nearly 70 years, we've been reverse engineering that technology while keeping it hidden from public view. We established underwater construction facilities and orbital assembly points disguised as deep-sea research stations and private space initiatives. The hologram shifted to show a massive ship, unlike anything Earth had publicly acknowledged, building. This is the USS Defiance, the first of 5 Dreadnought-class warships Earth has constructed. Each is equipped with technology derived from what we learned. Most importantly, they possess advanced cloaking systems that have kept them hidden from even the Confederation scans." Diane stared in disbelief. "You're telling me we have a secret fleet?" 5 ships, fully crewed and ready for deployment. Admiral Harmon confirmed. The Defiance, Retribution, Sovereign, Vindicator, and Intrepid, each commanded by our best officers and equipped with weapon systems that we believe will surprise our visitors. Why weren't we told? Demanded the French president. Because genuine reactions cannot be faked, Admiral Harmon replied. The Confederation needed to believe we were technologically inferior. Their arrogance is our advantage. Greg looked skeptical. Even with these ships, we're talking about fighting a civilization thousands of years ahead of us. Not exactly, said a new voice. A woman in her 40s entered carrying a tablet. I'm Laura Mitchell, tactical officer for the Dreadnought program. The crashed ship gave us more than just technology. It gave us insight into Confederation capabilities. They've grown complacent, standardized. Their ships are powerful, but predictable. Admiral Harmon nodded. We've had decades to prepare specifically for them, while they've had no reason to prepare for us. What about the people? Diane asked. If we reveal these ships, we're not just shocking the Confederation. We're shocking every person on Earth who believed we were alone out here. A necessary deception, Admiral Harmon said quietly. But now we need the diplomatic team to buy us time. When the 7 days are up, the Confederation expects surrender. Instead, they'll meet our dreadnoughts. The meeting continued late into the night. Captain Olivia Nash of the USS Defiance was called in to explain their strategic capabilities. Engineer Susan Wells detailed the shield technology that might give Earth a fighting chance. Communications Officer Alan Rodriguez outlined how they would coordinate Earth's conventional forces with the secret fleet. As dawn broke over Washington, with the alien ship still hovering in silent expectation, Diane prepared to return to negotiations, with a new understanding. She would play for time, appear to consider their terms, perhaps even seem ready to capitulate, all while Earth's secret defenders prepared to reveal themselves. When she met Crack's Tool later that day, she saw his confidence in a new light. The Confederation believed they were dealing with a primitive, defenseless world. They had no idea that beneath Earth's oceans, 5 massive warships were powering up their systems, ready to shatter the silence with humanity's answer to threats and ultimatums. The countdown to revelation had begun. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Captain Olivia Nash walked through the gleaming corridors of the USS Defiance. The massive ship hummed with activity as crew members made final preparations. 6 days had passed since the Confederation delivered their ultimatum. Tomorrow, Earth was supposed to surrender. Status report, Olivia said as she entered the bridge. The command center was a marvel of technology, with holographic displays and control stations that would have seemed like science fiction to the public. Lieutenant Alan Rodriguez turned from his communication station. All systems are running, at optimal levels, Captain. The quantum network is stable, connecting all 5 dreadnoughts. We can communicate without the Confederation detecting our signals. And our shields? Olivia asked. Chief Engineer Wells reports the shield modifications are complete. Her team worked through the night, said Paul Grant, the weapons specialist. His fingers moved across his console, checking weapon systems that had never been tested in actual combat. Olivia nodded and took her seat in the command chair. The weight of responsibility pressed on her shoulders. Earth's conventional military forces, jets, submarines, missiles, would be useless against the Confederation's technology. Everything depended on these 5 hidden ships and their untested capabilities. The Confederation still has no idea we exist, she said quietly. Their arrogance works in our favor, Paul replied. They've parked only 3 warships in orbit. The rest of their fleet is still at the edge of the solar system. They're not expecting any resistance. Olivia studied the tactical display showing the positions of the alien vessels. What's the status of the other dreadnoughts? All reporting ready, Captain, Alan said. Captain Daniels on the Sovereign is in position beneath the Atlantic. Captain Hernandez has the Vindicator under the Indian Ocean, the Retribution under. Captain Simmons is in the Arctic, and Captain Howard has the Intrepid stationed near Antarctica. And the electromagnetic pulse system? Ready to deploy on your command. It will blind their sensors for approximately 6 minutes, just enough time for us to surface and take position. Olivia stood and faced her crew. Tomorrow, we reveal ourselves. To Earth and the galaxy, remember your training. Remember what's at stake. Above them, on the surface of the planet, General Zexakor of the Confederation military watched Earth's activities with amusement. His massive warship, the Dominance, hovered over the Pacific Ocean as a show of force. "These humans are handling this better than expected," he commented to his second-in-command. "Their military assets are standing down, and their leaders are preparing statements of surrender." "They are being sensible," his officer replied. "Resistance would be pointless." General Zexkor's skin rippled with colors of satisfaction. "Prepare the integration teams. We'll begin landing operations at their governmental centers first, then establish control of their communication systems. What about their nuclear weapons? Our field dampeners will render them useless. By this time tomorrow, Earth will be officially under Confederation control." Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., Diane Carter was finishing her last meeting with Ambassador Craxtall. "We will require your leaders to broadcast the surrender announcement at precisely 0900 hours tomorrow," the ambassador said. "After that, our ships will begin landing procedures." Diane maintained her diplomatic face. "And you guarantee the safety of Earth's population?" "Of course. The Confederation is not barbaric. This integration will be peaceful as long as there is no resistance." Craxtall tilted his head. "Though I must say I expected more defiance from your species." "We recognize reality," Diane said carefully. "Earth cannot stand against your technology." As she left the meeting, Diane sent a pre-arranged text message to Admiral Harmon. The stage is set. In underground military facilities around the world, select personnel were quietly being briefed about what would happen the next day. The truth about Earth's secret program was finally being shared with those who needed to know. Night fell across the Pacific. On the ocean floor, the USS Defiance powered up its drive systems. Similar preparations were happening with the other 4 dreadnoughts in their hidden locations. "Final systems check," Olivia ordered. The bridge crew worked with focused intensity. "Weapons online," reported Paul. "Communications secure," added Alan. "Engineering reports all systems green," said Laura Mitchell from the tactical station. Olivia opened a channel to all sections of the ship. "Attention all crew. In 6 hours we will reveal ourselves to the Confederation and to the world. For decades we have trained for this moment. Earth is counting on us, though most of our people don't even know we exist. Whatever happens tomorrow, I am proud to serve with each of you." She closed the channel and turned to her first officer. "Now we wait." The hours passed slowly. Across Earth, people prepared for what they believed would be their first day under alien rule. News channels debated what life would be like in the Confederation. Some celebrated, believing Earth would finally receive advanced technology. Others mourned the loss of independence. None of them knew about the 5 massive warships waiting to change everything. At 800 hours, 1 hour before the scheduled surrender, Admiral Harmon gave the order. "Initiate Operation Revelation." Deep beneath the oceans, the 5 dreadnoughts activated their engines. The electromagnetic pulse system triggered simultaneously at key points around the globe, sending waves of energy that temporarily disabled the Confederation's scanning technology. "Now," Olivia commanded. The USS Defiance rose from the depths, water cascading from its massive hull as it broke the surface. Around the world, the other 4 dreadnoughts emerged as well, each nearly a mile long, bristling with weapons and technology the public had never seen. In orbit, General Zexakor was alerted to massive objects appearing in Earth's oceans. "What are those?" he demanded, staring at the suddenly clouded sensor readings. On the Defiance's bridge, Olivia stood tall. "Open a channel to the Confederation flagship." Alan's fingers flew across his console. "Channel open, broadcasting worldwide, and to all Confederation vessels." Olivia looked directly at the camera. "This is Captain Olivia Nash of the Earth Defense Force's vessel Defiance. Earth is not defenseless, and we do not surrender. The Confederation has 1 hour to withdraw from Earth orbit and prepare for proper diplomatic negotiations between equals. Otherwise, we will demonstrate exactly what humanity is capable of. She signaled to end the transmission. On the tactical display, she could see the Confederation vessels suddenly scrambling to battle positions. "They're powering weapons," Laura reported. "Shields up," Olivia ordered calmly. "Alert the fleet. It's time to break the silence." Above Earth, General Zexcor stared in disbelief at the massive warships that had appeared from nowhere. The humans had deceived them all. The galaxy was about to learn just how dangerous an underestimated species could be. General Zexcor's face twisted with rage as he stared at the 5 massive Earth vessels on his view screen. His bridge crew scrambled to battle stations, their skin flashing warning colors of alarm and confusion. "Impossible," he hissed. "Their planet showed no signs of this technology. Our scans detected nothing." His weapons officer turned from her console. "The human ships are activating shield systems. Their design is unusual. Launch fighters and prepare main weapons," Zexcor commanded. "These primitives think they can challenge the Confederation? We will teach them the cost of deception." On the bridge of the USS Defiance, Captain Olivia Nash watched as dozens of smaller craft poured from the Confederation warships. "Enemy fighters approaching," reported Laura Mitchell from the tactical station. "They're moving in attack formation." "Sovereign is in position to intercept," Alan Rodriguez added. "Captain Daniels is requesting permission to engage." Olivia nodded. "Tell Frank to proceed as planned. Defensive measures only for now." On the view screen, they watched as the USS Sovereign moved to intercept the incoming fighters. The Confederation vessels fired first, energy weapons flashing across space. The beam struck the Sovereign's shields, which flared bright blue but held firm. Ambassador Kraxatul, watching from the Confederation diplomatic vessel, felt a sensation he hadn't experienced in decades: fear. The human ships should not exist. Their shields should not be withstanding Confederation weapons. In Washington, D.C., crowds gathered in streets and parks, staring up at giant screens showing the 5 Earth ships facing off against the alien fleet. Diane Carter stood among government officials, her expression a mixture of tension and hope. "Did you know?" asked the French president quietly. "Only for the past week," she replied. "And only because they needed the diplomatic team to buy time." Back in orbit, the USS Sovereign continued to hold position, absorbing the Confederation's attack without returning fire. Captain Frank Daniels stood calmly on his bridge. "Shields holding at 86%, his officer reported. "Their weapons are powerful but predictable." Frank opened a channel to the Defiance. "Olivia, we've proven the shields work. Time for phase 2. Proceed," Olivia replied. Frank turned to his weapons officer. "Target the engines on those 3 lead fighters. Non-lethal force only." The Sovereign's weapon systems came to life, firing precisely calibrated energy pulses that disabled the Confederation fighters without destroying them. The smaller craft went dark, drifting helplessly in space. "USS Vindicator is moving into position," Alan announced on the Defiance. Captain Maria Hernandez of the Vindicator had a different mission. Her ship accelerated toward one of the larger Confederation cruisers, weaving between enemy fire with surprising agility for such a massive vessel. "Ready the EMP cannons," Maria ordered. "Target their weapon systems only." The Vindicator fired, sending waves of energy that washed over the Confederation cruiser. The alien ship's weapons immediately powered down, leaving it defenseless, but with life support intact. On his flagship, General Zexcor watched in growing horror as Earth's ships systematically neutralized his forces without killing his people. "Launch the second wave," he ordered. "All remaining ships focus fire on their lead vessel." The USS Retribution, under Captain Eric Simmons, moved to intercept the Confederation flagship itself. The Retribution was the most heavily armed of Earth's dreadnoughts designed specifically for ship-to-ship combat. "They're targeting the Defiance with everything they have," Eric told his crew. "Let's give them something else to worry about." The Retribution fired its main cannon, a weapon based on technology that Earth scientists had spent decades perfecting. The beam sliced through space and struck the Confederation flagship's propulsion system. The massive alien vessel shuddered. To a halt, its engines disabled. Meanwhile, the USS Intrepid under Captain Kevin Howard protected Earth itself, positioning between the planet and any Confederation vessel that tried to approach. Its defensive systems intercepted missiles and energy weapons meant for the surface. "This is not a fight," Kevin said to his crew. "This is a demonstration. Stay focused on protection, not destruction." In orbit around Mars, where the main Confederation fleet waited, commanders watched in disbelief as their advance force was systematically disabled by Earth's previously unknown fleet. Ambassador Crack's Tool sent an urgent message to the Confederation Council. Humans possess technology equal or superior to our own in several key areas. Recommend immediate cessation of hostilities. On the Defiance, Olivia received a transmission from Admiral Harmon on Earth. The rest of their fleet is mobilizing from Mars orbit. Time for the final phase. Understood, Olivia replied. She opened a channel to all Earth vessels. Begin Operation Checkmate. The 5 Dreadnoughts moved into a formation that Earth's strategists had designed based on the Confederation's known tactics. The Defiance took point position, with the other 4 ships, creating a defensive perimeter. "Captain," Alan called out, "we're being hailed by General Zexcor's vessel." On screen, Olivia ordered. The angry face of the Confederation general appeared. "You have committed an act of war against the Confederation by concealing military capabilities. You threatened our planet with forced occupation," Olivia replied calmly. "We revealed our capabilities when it became necessary for our defense. We still prefer peaceful resolution. Your ships are outnumbered 10 to 1 once. Our main fleet arrives," Zexcor snarled. "Quality over quantity, General. But if you insist on escalation..." Olivia nodded to Paul Grant. The weapons specialist activated a sequence that had been years in development. All 5 Dreadnoughts simultaneously fired precisely calibrated pulses at specific points in space near the moon. The energy beams converged, creating a massive disruption field that spread outward. As the field reached the approaching Confederation reinforcements, their faster-than-light drives suddenly failed. The massive alien fleet dropped back into normal space, their advanced propulsion systems temporarily neutralized. "What have you done?" Zexcor demanded. "Created a localized field that prevents certain technologies from functioning," Olivia explained. "It will dissipate in approximately 6 hours. Long enough for cooler heads to prevail, we hope." On the diplomatic vessel, Ambassador Crack's Tool received urgent messages from the Confederation Council. The humans had not only revealed unprecedented military capability, but had done so with restraint, disabling rather than destroying their opponents. "Captain Nash," Crack's Tool said, opening a channel to the Defiance. "The Confederation Supreme Council requests an immediate ceasefire and the opening of new diplomatic channels. Your demonstration has been persuasive." Olivia looked at her bridge crew, humans who had trained their entire careers for this moment, protecting a planet that hadn't even known they existed until today. "We accept the ceasefire," she replied. "Earth is prepared to join the galactic community as equals, not as subjects." As the tension of imminent battle faded, cheers erupted across Earth. The screens showed their defenders, massive ships that had remained hidden for decades, now proudly visible against the backdrop of space. The galaxy had thought Earth was defenseless. That misconception had now been shattered forever. 1 week after the battle that changed Earth's place in the galaxy, Captain Olivia Nash stood in a large meeting room aboard the Confederation diplomatic vessel. The circular chamber featured a massive table where representatives from 7 alien species sat facing the human delegation. Olivia felt strange in her formal uniform after days in battle gear. Beside her stood Admiral Jack Harmon, Diane Carter, and Greg Peterson. The humans formed a small island in a sea of alien faces, colors, and forms. Ambassador Craxatul opened the session. His skin had taken on a subdued blue tone, lacking the bright confidence he had shown during the first contact. "The Confederation Supreme Council acknowledges the strength demonstrated by Earth's forces. We are prepared to discuss terms for a more..." He paused, searching for the right word. "Equitable relationship." We appreciate the opportunity for proper negotiation, Diane replied smoothly. Earth seeks peaceful integration with the galactic community, but as a sovereign and equal member. A tall insect-like being rose from the far side of the table. Unlike the Viridians with their humanoid shape, this creature had 4 arms and compound eyes that reflected the light in rainbow patterns. I am Counselor Krezix of the Zor Collective, it said through its translator. Not all Confederation members supported the aggressive approach to Earth. My species, along with the Arborans and Tellurians, voted against forced integration. This revelation surprised the Earth delegation. Admiral Harmon leaned forward. You were outvoted? The Confederation works on majority rule, Krezix explained. 4 species against 3. But now, the balance of power has shifted. Earth's unexpected capabilities have strengthened the position of those who favor cooperative relations. While the high-level talks continued, engineer Susan Wells found herself in a different part of the diplomatic vessel. She had been invited to meet with Confederation scientists interested in Earth's shield technology. The alien seemed particularly fascinated by humanity's approach to energy modulation. Your shields should not be this effective, said a Tellurian engineer, his rock-like skin cracking slightly as he gestured toward Susan's technical diagrams. You've developed a completely different approach to energy distribution than any species in the Confederation. Susan smiled. Necessity breeds innovation. We knew we couldn't match your power output, so we had to be smarter about energy usage. Back on Earth, humanity was still absorbing the shock of learning about the Dreadnought program. Some people celebrated in the streets, while others protested the decades of secrecy. News channels broadcast endless interviews with experts discussing the implications of Earth's new position in galactic politics. Security Officer Joe Martinez patrolled the perimeter around the temporary Confederation embassy in Geneva. The area had been transformed overnight, with alien technology and human security systems creating a strange blend of old and new. Joe noticed something odd about one of the maintenance workers entering the building. The man's body language seemed off, and he kept touching his jacket pocket. Following his instincts, Joe approached him. Excuse me, sir. Could I see your identification again? The man's eyes darted around nervously before he suddenly pulled a device from his pocket. Joe reacted instantly, tackling him to the ground. The device, which later analysis would confirm was an alien explosive, skittered across the floor. Why? Joe asked as he handcuffed the man. Humans have no right to alien technology, the man spat. We're giving away our planet to these creatures. Similar incidents were reported around the world. While most of humanity welcomed the new era, some feared it. Others were being secretly influenced by Confederation hardliners who didn't want peace with Earth. 3 days into the negotiations, Captain Nash received an urgent message from Paul Grant aboard the Defiance. Captain, we've detected unusual energy signatures from several Confederation vessels near Jupiter. It doesn't match the pattern of their regular communications. Olivia brought this information to Admiral Harmon, who shared it with the friendly counselors from the Zor Collective. Krezix's compound eyes flickered with concern. This suggests a faction within our military may be operating without council approval. I must alert the Supreme Council immediately. Thanks to this early warning, when a group of Confederation warships attempted to bypass Earth's defenses with a surprise attack, they found the 5 Dreadnoughts waiting for them. The attempted sabotage of the peace talks failed. In the aftermath, relationships between Earth and the 3 friendly species, the Zor, Arborans, and Tellurians, grew stronger. Their representatives began to speak of a possible new alliance within the Confederation, one that would respect the sovereignty of younger species. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens like Nurse Nicole Adams were experiencing the first benefits of contact with advanced alien medicine. Working alongside Arboran healers, Nicole helped adapt their regenerative techniques to human physiology. This technology could eliminate organ transplant waiting lists entirely, she told her supervisor with excitement. And the Arborans are fascinated by our approaches to mental health care. There's so much we can learn from each other, teacher. Ryan Campbell found himself leading one of the first cultural exchange programs. His classroom now included 3 young aliens who had come to Earth to learn about human education methods. In return, Ryan's students were learning about life on other worlds. The Confederation has existed for thousands of years, Ryan explained to his class, but they'd fallen into rigid patterns of thinking. Our different perspective is valuable to them, just as their knowledge is valuable to us. By the end of the second week, the negotiations had produced a preliminary agreement known as the Sol Accords. The document established Earth as an independent entity with full rights in galactic affairs. It included provisions for technology exchange, cultural missions, and mutual defense. After the signing ceremony, Olivia found herself looking out a viewport at Earth floating below. Ambassador Crackstool approached her. "Your deception was quite effective, Captain Nash," he said. "The Confederation believed we were dealing with a primitive species." "Our ships were always meant as a defensive measure," Olivia replied. "We hoped first contact would be peaceful, yet you prepared for war. We prepared for all possibilities. That's what humans do." Crackstool made a gesture that his species used to express respect. The Confederation has grown complacent over millennia. Perhaps the arrival of humans will force needed changes. As their meeting ended, news arrived from Earth. Construction had begun on 7 new Dreadnoughts. Other nations were developing their own ships based on the original designs. Humanity wasn't taking its newfound place in the galaxy for granted. The news spread quickly through the Confederation. Species that had been forced into protectorate status began to look toward Earth with hope. If the humans could stand as equals, perhaps they could too. The galaxy was changing. The silence had been broken, and the echoes would reshape civilizations across the stars. 1 year after Earth's dreadnoughts revealed themselves to the galaxy, the USS Defiance led a small fleet of ships through the darkness of deep space. Captain Olivia Nash, now Admiral Nash, stood on the bridge of her vessel and watched the stars streak by. Earth had changed dramatically in 12 months, and so had she. "Status report," she requested. "All systems normal, Admiral," replied her new first officer, Commander Steve Wright. "The Sovereign and Vindicator are maintaining formation. The 3 new ships are keeping pace nicely." Olivia nodded with satisfaction. The 3 newest additions to Earth's fleet, the USS Liberty, USS Guardian, and USS Pioneer, represented the next generation of human engineering. Built openly rather than in secret, they combined Earth's innovation with technology shared by their new allies. "How long until we reach the coordinates?" she asked. 4 hours at current speed, Laura Mitchell answered from the tactical station. Laura had remained with the Defiance, turning down offers of her own command. "Long-range scans show no Confederation presence in the area. This mission took them beyond the edges of known Confederation space." After the Sol Accords were signed, Earth learned of other independent worlds that had rejected Confederation control. One such civilization, the Astrani, had sent encoded messages inviting contact. As the Earth ships traveled to this meeting, back home humanity continued its rapid transformation. The first anniversary of Revelation Day, when the Dreadnoughts emerged from hiding, was being celebrated worldwide. In New York City, Diane Carter prepared for her new role. After successfully leading the diplomatic team during the crisis, she had been appointed Earth's first ambassador to the Confederation capital world. Her office overlooked the newly constructed Galactic Embassy complex, where representatives from 12 alien species now maintained a presence. "Are you ready for tomorrow's ceremony?" Greg Peterson asked as he entered her office. He had become her chief advisor, helping navigate the complex politics of the Confederation. "As ready as anyone can be to represent 8 billion humans to alien civilizations," Diane replied with a smile. "Did you see the new polling data?" Greg nodded. 87% approval for the Dreadnought program now that everything's been declassified. People were angry about the secrecy at first, but success has a way of changing minds. The classified files on Earth's secret space program had been gradually released to the public. People learned how the crashed alien ship had been discovered, how 5 nations formed a pact to develop the technology, and how the Dreadnoughts were built in secret over decades. Admiral Jack Harmon had become something of a global hero. Now in charge of Earth's combined defense forces, he was overseeing the expansion of the fleet and the integration of conventional military units with new technology. 12 dreadnoughts completed, 5 more under construction, he told the United Earth Defense Council during their weekly meeting. And the shield technology is being adapted for planetary defense installations. A representative from India raised her hand. What about the reports that some Confederation species still view us as a threat? 4 of the 7 Confederation species have fully accepted the new relationship, Harmon replied. The Viridians remain cautious but respectful after their initial misjudgment. Only 2 species, the Drakari and Nox, continue to view humans with hostility. Far from these political concerns, engineer Susan Wells led a team of human and alien scientists at a new research facility on the Moon. The collaboration focused on developing technologies that could benefit all species. The energy efficiency of our shield designs combined with Tellurian power generation could revolutionize transportation throughout the galaxy, she explained to visitors touring the facility. What she didn't mention was that these same advances would make Earth's defenses even stronger. Back on the Defiance, Admiral Nash entered her private office for a scheduled call with Earth. A holographic image of Security Officer Joe Martinez appeared. After preventing the bombing of the Confederation Embassy, Joe had been promoted to head of a new joint human-alien security force. We've uncovered another cell of extremists, Joe reported. Some humans still resist any cooperation with alien species, and we have evidence that Drakari agents are providing them with technology. Keep monitoring the situation, Olivia instructed. We need to know if this is isolated or part of a larger movement. When the call ended, Olivia returned to the bridge. The fleet was approaching the coordinates for the meeting with the Astrani. Sensors are detecting a ship, Alan Rodriguez announced from communications. Design unknown, definitely not Confederation. Open a channel, Olivia ordered. Standard. Greeting protocol. The view screen activated, showing a being with silvery skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Greetings, vessels from Earth, the alien said through its translator. I am Captain Zell of the Astrani Free Worlds. We have monitored your emergence onto the galactic stage with great interest. Olivia stepped forward. Admiral Olivia Nash of Earth. We received your invitation and are honored to meet another independent civilization. The Confederation has dominated this region of space for too long, Captain Zell replied. Many worlds chafe under their protection. When we learned how Earth stood against them as equals, it gave hope to others. The conversation continued as both leaders shared information about their peoples. The Astrani had broken from Confederation control centuries ago, retreating to a remote star cluster. Other independent species had done the same. Now they were cautiously reaching out, seeking allies. By the end of the meeting, the foundation had been laid for what would eventually become the Alliance of Free Worlds, a counterbalance to the Confederation's power. As the Earth fleet began its journey home, Olivia stood at the observation deck watching distant stars. She thought about how quickly everything had changed. Just over a year ago, humanity believed it was alone in the universe. Now Earth ships traveled between stars, and humans worked alongside aliens. At the Dreadnought Academy on Earth, a new generation of officers trained to serve on the expanding fleet. Young cadet Lisa Bennett stood in the massive hangar, where the original Defiance was now housed as a museum and training vessel. She looked up at the enormous ship with wonder. One day I'll command a ship like that, she told her classmates. Unlike the first Dreadnought crews who had trained in secret, these cadets prepared openly for their role in defending Earth and exploring the galaxy. The universe had proven more dangerous than humanity once imagined, but also filled with more possibilities. Earth had earned its place among the stars not through submission, but through foresight and courage. The galaxy had thought Earth was defenseless. That mistake would never be made again.